My name is Rachel Morgan, and I found out I didn't exist to my own parents, at least not on paper. It happened on a quiet Sunday afternoon. I was helping my mom organize some old documents when a thick beige envelope slipped from a folder. Curiosity made me open it. Inside was their will, neatly typed, recently dated. Everything, the house I helped renovate, the $450,000 in savings I contributed to monthly, my mother's diamond ring I once paid to have repaired. All of it was going to my sister, Lily. And me, just one line. We love both our daughters. That was it. No mention of the 10 years I spent driving through snowstorms to bring my mother her medication. No sign of the nights I stayed up refinancing their mortgage, so they wouldn't lose the house. No space for the daughter who paid every utility bill, while Lily figured herself out. That day, I quietly set the will on the kitchen table and walked out. For the last time. Have you ever discovered something that rewrote your entire life in a single moment? If you were in my shoes, would you have stayed silent? Or would you finally choose yourself? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Sophia's Revenge Stories. Because sometimes the people who owe you everything will leave you nothing. But that's not where my story ends. I wasn't the kind of daughter who disappeared after high school and only came home for holidays. I was the one who stayed. When Dad's back gave out, I was the one who crawled under the kitchen sink to fix the leak. When Mom got nervous about online banking, I set up all her bills on autopay. When Lily lost yet another job, I covered her car payments. Again, I lived just 20 minutes away in Salem, Oregon. I used to stop by every Sunday, do the grocery run, check the thermostat, clean out the fridge. The little things, the invisible things. No one ever asked me to do them, but no one ever said thank you either. They expected it, and for a long time, I gave. Willingly, because I thought love meant stepping up, even when it was inconvenient, even when it hurt. My mom, Ellen, always seemed grateful. She'd smile in that nervous way, like she was scared the gratitude might offend me. But my dad, Leonard, he acted like it was nothing more than the natural order of things. Like the eldest daughter should be responsible for everything. And Lily, well, she was the baby, the dreamer, the one they were always waiting on to find her calling. At 30, she was still posting dance tutorials on YouTube and living rent-free in the guest bedroom. She didn't know how to pay a utility bill. She didn't need to, because I was paying them. I told myself it was temporary, that one day she'd stand on her own. That one day my parents would see me, not just as their fixer, their buffer, their built-in safety net, but as their daughter. But that one day never came. Instead, it came down to a sheet of paper in a beige envelope. That envelope became my reality check, and the silence after I walked away. That was louder than anything they'd ever said to me. 2 weeks passed without a word, no texts, no calls, no knock at my door. Then, the message came. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't a plea to come back. It was from my father. Rachel, the mortgage payment is due on the 15th. Please make sure it's handled. Like nothing had happened. Like I was still their accountant, their safety net, their plan B. I stared at the screen for a full minute before typing back. I think Lily can handle it. After all, the house belongs to her now, doesn't it? And I hit send. My hands were shaking. Not from anger, but release. For the first time, I wasn't asking to be seen. I was choosing to walk away from the people who refused to see me at all. That's when everything started to unravel, but I'll get to that soon. After my message to Dad, I didn't expect a response. I got one anyway, just not from him. It was from Mom. Rachel, please don't do this. Your father didn't mean to hurt you. Let's talk. Come over this weekend. No apology, no acknowledgement. Just a plea for me to smooth things over. That had always been my role, hadn't it? The peacekeeper, the fixer, the one who showed up and made everything okay so they didn't have to feel bad. But I didn't reply. Not this time. A few hours later, Lily messaged me. Seriously, you're acting like a child. You're mad because you didn't get money? Grow up. Grow up. This from the woman who once called me crying because she overdrew her account buying new ring lights for her live streams. I didn't answer her either. Then came the real kicker, another message from Mom. Rachel, I need you to transfer $2,900. It's for the property tax. They've raised it again. Just like that. As if nothing had happened. As if I were still her financial backup. Still the daughter who quietly absorbed the hits while everyone else got to live in blissful denial. I stared at that message for a long time. And then I typed 4 words. That's not my responsibility. No apology. No explanation. Just clarity. I deleted the text thread. And with it, 10 years of bending over backward. That night, something in me shifted. I went for a walk around my neighborhood. No headphones, no distractions. Just me and the chill of an Oregon evening. For the first time, I noticed how quiet the world was when I wasn't answering everyone else's demands. How peaceful it felt to not be needed. It wasn't sad. It was cleansing. Over the next few days, I started taking small steps. I called the bank and had my name removed from the joint mortgage account. I canceled all the auto payments I had set up for their water bill, internet, electricity. I deleted every reminder on my phone labeled Mom's RX or Dad's gas bill. It was like unraveling a web I didn't even realize I was trapped in. And the more I pulled, the freer I felt. I made myself a promise. No more explanations. No more being the bigger person. No more showing up for people who only call when they want something. The messages from Mom kept coming, each one more frantic than the last. Your sister doesn't know how to pay the internet bill. The landline's been disconnected. If the lights go out, I don't know what we'll do. I read them all, and I didn't answer a single one. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally understood. Caring doesn't mean sacrificing yourself to keep other people comfortable. If they were uncomfortable now, it wasn't because I'd abandoned them. It was because they'd never learned how to stand without leaning on me. And I was done being leaned on. Then, the inevitable happened. Mrs. Kellerman, my parents' next-door neighbor, called me from a number I didn't recognize. Rachel, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your mother asked me if I knew any realtors. Said they might have to sell the house. I thanked her and hung up. An hour later, I got a text from Ben, an old friend from high school. Hey, did you know your parents got a foreclosure notice? It had been 4 weeks since I'd stopped paying. 4 weeks. That's all it took for everything to start falling apart. No safety net, no miracle bailout, no Rachel to clean up the mess. And honestly, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. I had spent years being their lifeboat, patching holes while they drilled new ones. Now the boat was sinking. And for once, I wasn't the one bailing water. I was on the shore, dry, still, breathing. I thought they might show up at some point, bang on my door, demand answers, maybe even cry. But they didn't. Not yet. Instead, it was Lily who came first. Unannounced. I was eating dinner, takeout from a new Thai place I'd been meaning to try for months, but never had time or money for, when I heard a knock. There she was, mascara smudged, hair unbrushed, hoodie 2 sizes too big, holding a folder stuffed with what looked like legal paperwork. I'm not here to fight, she said. I just need help talking to the bank. I didn't move from the doorway. I thought the house was yours, I said calmly. Didn't you inherit everything? She rolled her eyes. The money is in a locked investment account. I can't access it without Dad's approval, and he's spiraling. She looked around me like she might still be allowed to walk in. I didn't budge. I'm not asking for money, she added quickly. Just for you to help explain the situation to the mortgage officer. You're good with numbers. You understand all this stuff. I waited a beat before answering. No. Her eyes widened, like she hadn't even considered the possibility I'd refuse. No, she echoed. Rachel, this is the house we grew up in. It was, I said. And then you got it, along with everything else. She blinked hard, but I saw the flash of guilt. Or maybe just panic. So you're just going to let it fall apart? I didn't let anything happen. You're the ones who made the choices. I'm just refusing to clean up after them. I watched her face twist. Confusion, disbelief, a little bit of shame. But I didn't take it back. I didn't soften my tone. I didn't offer an alternative. She left without another word. That night, I slept better than I had in years. No dreams, no mental checklists. No wondering if I forgot to set up Mom's doctor appointment or pay the gas bill on time. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that fills the space where guilt used to live. Over the next week, the updates kept coming, but not from them. Ben texted again. Your parents are trying to sell the house, asking $390K. It's not moving. I didn't respond. 2 days later, they had a showing. The place needs work. Cracked foundation, roof's leaking again. Still, I stayed quiet. I wasn't going to save them from the consequences of their own shortcuts. For once in their lives, they were going to have to deal with discomfort, and not just pass it to me. And then, they came. All of them. A silver minivan parked across from my apartment, just as the sun dipped below the skyline. I looked through the peephole. Mom, Dad, Lily. No one said a word at first. Mom had her hands clenched around a folder. Dad looked older, tired in a way I hadn't seen before. Lily stared at the ground. I opened the door, but didn't invite them in. We wanted to talk, Mom started. You've had weeks to talk, I said. Now you want to? Dad stepped forward. We made a mistake. With the will, with a lot of things. Why, I asked. Why did you write me out of everything? The silence was sharp. Then Dad muttered, almost embarrassed. We thought you were fine. You always had everything together. You didn't need it the way Lily did. I nearly laughed. So because I worked hard, because I was responsible, I got nothing? That was the reward? No one answered. I gave up a decade of my life patching holes in this family, I continued. And what I got in return was a single sentence in a will. Mom's voice cracked. We didn't mean to hurt you. We thought maybe you'd understand. I do understand, I said. I understand perfectly. So you won't help? She whispered. Not even a little? Just until things stabilize? And I gave her my final answer. No. Not because I can't, but because if I do, you'll believe, again, that nothing has to change. That I'll always come back. And I won't. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just closed the door. Softly, completely, finally. After I closed the door, my family, I expected anger, retaliation, maybe even another visit. But what came next surprised me. Silence. No more pleading messages from Mom. No sarcastic jabs from Lily. No demands from Dad. At first, the quiet felt eerie, like the eye of a storm. But it wasn't peace. It was planning. Not from me, from them. Because a week later, my phone buzzed with a notification. A Facebook tag. My mother had posted a long, heart-wrenching message on her page. A photo of our house at sunset with the caption, "It breaks my heart to see how easily some people forget where they came from. We raised our daughters with love. We never thought one of them would abandon us when we needed her most." The comments were immediate. Old church friends chimed in. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years offered prayers. Some even sent Lily money through Venmo. And then came the private messages. How could you? Your parents are such kind people. You always seemed so responsible. I can't believe you'd just walk away. It hurt, not because they believed it, but because my family knew what they were doing. They were rewriting the story, casting themselves as the helpless victims and me as the cold, selfish villain. And for a few days, I said nothing. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them wallow in the narrative they'd built. But then I remembered something. I had receipts. Literal ones. Thousands of dollars in bank transfers. Screenshots of utility payments in my name. Photos of medicine bags, house repairs. Receipts for the new roof I paid for when Dad lost his job. I even had a PDF copy of the will. That beige envelope? I'd scanned it months ago. I had proof of everything. So I made a plan. One post. No emotion, just facts. I opened Instagram, kept the caption short. Silence isn't always guilt. Sometimes it's grace, but since grace isn't working, here's the truth. Swipe 1, a photo of the will. Highlighted section, all assets to Lily Morgan. Swipe 2, my bank app showing monthly mortgage payments from my account. Swipe 3, screenshots of messages, Mom asking for $2,900. Lily demanding I grow up. Swipe 4, a spreadsheet, 10 years of financial support, labeled, time-stamped, undeniable. I didn't mention names, didn't curse, didn't explain. I let the evidence speak for itself. And it did. The post went viral in our small circle. People who had messaged me privately, they started deleting their comments. Some even apologized. Lily unfollowed me. Mom took down her post. Dad deactivated his account entirely. And just like that, the pity party ended. It didn't make me feel victorious. It made me feel clean. For the first time, I wasn't just defending myself. I was defining myself. I wasn't the villain in their story anymore. I was the author of my own. I took it further. Blocked every family member who tried to guilt trip me. Changed my number, opened a new bank account, one they couldn't trace. Cut off the last auto payment I'd forgotten, their Netflix subscription. And with every severed tie, I felt a little lighter. I bought myself a DSLR camera I'd been eyeing for years. Signed up for a weekend photography workshop in Portland. Started saying yes to things I'd always said maybe later to. I reorganized my apartment, turned the guest room, once reserved for family visits, into a mini studio. Hung my favorite prints on the walls. Framed a quote over the door that read, "You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm." And that became my mantra. I was done explaining. Done defending. Done shrinking to fit into a family that only loved me when I was useful. People say family is forever, but sometimes forever is just another word for stuck. And I wasn't stuck anymore. I was free, finally, fully, undeniably free. I thought that was the end of it. But people like my parents, they don't just let go. They don't reflect. They retaliate. A month after my post, the fallout came knocking. Not through texts, not through a visit, through whispers. I started getting weird looks at my local co-op. The barista who used to smile every morning now gave me a polite, tight-lipped nod. Even my yoga instructor, who once gushed about my grounded energy, suddenly stopped calling me by name. It didn't take long to figure out why. Lily had found a new outlet. Reddit, an anonymous account in a support forum, sharing her truth about a narcissistic sister who weaponized money and abandoned her disabled parents. I didn't need to see a username. The timeline was too perfect. The details, all slightly twisted, just enough to poison sympathy. And it worked. Her post got traction. It was shared on Twitter, turned into a TikTok. A few influencers even stitched it, asking, "What would you do if your sibling left your elderly parents homeless?" The comments poured in. Blood doesn't mean anything to some people. She sounds heartless. There's a special place in hell for children like that. I stayed silent for a week. Let them guess. Let them clutch their pearls. But then, one night, scrolling in bed, I saw a comment under one of the TikToks that stopped me cold. If this is about Rachel Morgan from Salem, Oregon, I actually know her. She's a selfish bitch who used to brag about paying the bills just to hold it over her family's head. Total control freak. That wasn't a stranger. That was Brittany, my cousin. We'd shared bunk beds during summer trips. She was a bridesmaid at my wedding before it fell apart. And now she was piling on, publicly, for likes. I could have responded. I could have fought back. Instead, I screenshotted it all. And then, I sent a single group message to everyone involved. "I'm done. This is the last time I'll engage. You're free to tell whatever version of the story helps you sleep. But I'll no longer be part of it. For the record, I didn't abandon anyone. I just stopped financing their denial." And then I deleted the thread, blocked them all, and made a final post. No text, just a photo. Me in my studio, surrounded by my prints, barefoot, laughing, holding a coffee mug that said, "Not today, chaos." The caption, "Peace is louder than pity." That image stayed at the top of my profile for weeks. People stopped tagging me in drama. They stopped messaging, stopped guessing. Because the message was clear, I didn't need to win the argument. I'd already won my life back. And for the first time in years, I had room to breathe. My savings were growing. My mind was calm. I taught my first community photography class, and one of the students, an older woman named Janice, told me my work made her feel seen. I smiled and said, "Thank you, that's all I ever wanted, to be seen." And I meant it, because that's what all of this came down to. Not money, not inheritance, not even revenge, visibility. All those years, I was in the picture, but never the focus. I was the background, the scaffolding, the invisible net they never thanked, until I disappeared. And when I finally stepped out of the frame, they didn't know how to stand on their own. But I did. I was finally in the center of my own story, and I wasn't going anywhere. It's been 6 months since I walked away. The house finally sold, at a loss. They listed it at $390,000. It went for $325,000 after 2 price drops and 3 failed inspections. I didn't follow the process obsessively, but people talk. Salem isn't that big. And word travels fast when drama dies down and consequences set in. Lily moved into a rental with our parents, a small 2-bedroom place outside the city near the train tracks. She works part-time at a boutique, takes fewer selfies now. Mom sent me a letter 2 weeks ago, handwritten, blue ink on lined paper. It smelled like her perfume, light, powdery, familiar. She wrote, "I don't know how we got here. Your father isn't well. I miss you every day. I know we failed you, and maybe it's too late. But if your heart ever softens, I'll still be here." I didn't respond, not out of cruelty, but because I finally understood something. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it just means no longer carrying their weight on your back. I folded the letter gently, slid it into the drawer with my old camera negatives, and closed it. No tears, no rage, just quiet. These days, I shoot portraits for a local gallery. I bake on Sundays. I host a small monthly dinner with a few friends who don't know me as the responsible one or the fixer. Just Rachel. Last week, I took a photo of the sunrise over Liberty Lake, golden, still, whole. I printed it in matte, hung it above my bed, captioned it with a single word, enough, because I am enough. And if you've ever been made to feel like you weren't, by family, by friends, by people who only loved you when you were useful, hear this. You don't have to keep proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. You don't owe them your silence. You don't owe them your peace. You don't owe them your life. What did you think of this story? If you've ever had to walk away to survive, tell me in the comments. And if you've ever chosen yourself for the first time, vote Aurori 1 in the comments to show you're no longer carrying what they left behind. Don't forget to subscribe to Sophia's Revenge Stories for more powerful true tales. Every single day,